The old house at the end of Willow Street had always been a source of dread in our quiet suburban neighborhood. Its peeling paint overgrown yard and cracked windows seemed to whisper stories of forgotten horrors to anyone who passed by. As kids, we dared each other to approach it, but no one ever ventured beyond the crumbling front porch. It was a house with a history, they said, and that history was dark. It was a chilly October evening when I found myself standing in front of the dreaded house, a decision I would soon come to regret. My curiosity had finally gotten the best of me, and with Halloween just around the corner, I figured it was the perfect time to explore the mysteries hidden within its walls. The sun was setting, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to reach out from the house like ghostly fingers. I took a deep breath and ascended the creaking steps of the porch. The wood felt fragile beneath my feet, and I half expected it to give way with each step. The front door was ajar, as if beckoning me to enter, and the darkness beyond it seemed impenetrable. I pushed the door open and it groaned in protest. The air inside was thick with the musty scent of decay, and I hesitated for a moment, wondering if I should turn back. But I had come this far, and the allure of the unknown was too strong to resist. I stepped inside and was immediately engulfed by darkness. I fumbled for my phone and turned on the flashlight, the harsh beam cutting through the gloom. The interior of the house was even worse than I had imagined. Dust-covered furniture lay in disarray, and cobwebs hung from every corner. And it was as if the house had been frozen in time, a relic of a bygone era. As I moved deeper into the house, I began to hear strange noises. Whispers that seemed to come from nowhere, the creaking of floorboards and faint, ghostly laughter. I told myself it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but the unease in the pit of my stomach grew with each step. I entered a dimly lit room, and there, on a dusty old piano, I saw a photograph. It was a black and white image of a family. Mother, father, and 2 children, all smiling, their faces frozen in time. Something about the photograph sent a chill down my spine. Their eyes seemed to follow me, and I had the unsettling feeling that they were trapped here, just like the house itself. I continued to explore the house, each room revealing more of its disturbing history. In one room, I found a collection of journals filled with the ramblings of a person who had descended into madness. They spoke of hearing voices, of strange occurrences in the house, and of a malevolent presence that dwelled within its walls. It was as if the house itself was alive, feeding off the fear and misery of those who entered. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, that the house was aware of my presence and did not want me there. But I couldn't turn back now. I had to know the truth, no matter how terrifying it might be. As I made my way to the basement, the temperature seemed to drop, and my breath formed visible puffs in the cold air. The basement was a labyrinth of narrow, winding corridors, and I felt a growing sense of claustrophobia as I descended deeper into the darkness. And then I saw it. A flickering light at the end of one of the corridors. It was a single candle, casting dancing shadows on the walls. I approached cautiously, my heart pounding in my chest. In the flickering candlelight, I saw a figure. A woman dressed in tattered rags, her hair long and disheveled. She was hunched over, her back to me, and she appeared to be whispering to herself. My stomach churned as I realized that the woman was chanting in a language I did not understand. I took a step back, my flashlight trembling in my hand, and that's when she turned to face me. Her eyes were empty, devoid of any humanity, and she began to move towards me with a slow, deliberate gait. I stumbled backward, my heart racing, and turned to run, but the corridor had changed. The walls seemed to close in around me, and the candlelight danced ahead, leading me deeper into the labyrinth. Panic set in as I realized I was trapped, the malevolent presence of the house closing in on me. I could hear the woman's chanting growing louder, and the whispers in the walls grew into a cacophony of voices, each one more sinister than the last. And then, just as I thought I couldn't take it any longer, I saw a glimmer of hope, a small door hidden in the shadows. With a burst of adrenaline, I reached it and flung it open. I stumbled out of the basement and into the cool night air, gasping for breath. I never looked back at that accursed house as I sprinted down Willow Street, away from the horrors that lurked within. I knew I had narrowly escaped, and I couldn't help but wonder how many others had not been so fortunate. That night, as I lay in my bed, drenched in sweat and trembling, I realized that some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some houses are better left abandoned. The horrors that dwell within them are not meant for the living, and the darkness that lurks in the shadows is a force that should never be challenged.